They don't fall for the nicest guy. They don't fall for the richest man. They fall for the one who knows who he is, knows what he won't tolerate, knows how to walk away without a word. And here's the cruel part. No one told you this, not your father, not your school. Because the system doesn't benefit from strong men who can't be seduced by illusion. Now listen to me. A woman's attraction isn't just emotional, it's biological. She's scanning you every moment for clues you don't even know you're broadcasting, your posture, your tone, your boundaries, your scarcity. If you chase, if you overgive, if you explain yourself too much, you've already lost. She doesn't want to be your priority. She wants to earn her place in your kingdom. That's not toxic. That's truth. The moment you place her above your purpose, your light dims, and she feels it. She may not say it, but her biology knows it. So let me ask you, are you a man who bends at the sight of beauty, or are you the man who stands so rooted in self-mastery that beauty bows in your presence? Because women fall, not for the fantasy you project, but for the quiet power you withhold. The man who speaks little but moves mountains. The man who does not need but chooses. And here's what no one told you. When a man becomes untouchable by external chaos, he becomes irresistible to the feminine. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Apply this to relationships and you'll see. When you control your desire, when you discipline your instincts, you stop being a man who begs for attention and become a man who commands it. Now stay with me, because in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to show you why understanding a woman's psychology means becoming unavailable in ways that make her crave your presence, not with manipulation, but wit and stoic mastery. A woman doesn't fall in love with a man she fully understands. She falls for the mystery she can't solve, the tension between what she sees and what she feels but can't explain. And you, if you're too eager, too open, too available, you erase that tension. You kill the current. You think telling her everything makes you honest. You think chasing her shows your passion. You think vulnerability means being soft. But to her ancient wiring, it means you are predictable. And what's predictable can't arouse. It doesn't inspire fear or lust or longing. Now listen carefully. The feminine is chaos, emotion, wild energy. It wants to test. It needs to feel the boundaries of a man who won't move when the storm comes. But most men, they collapse. She pulls away, and they chase. She's cold, and they overcompensate. She gives less, and they give more. That's not strength. That's emotional slavery. The men women fall hardest for are the ones who can withstand her tests without reacting, who see her withdrawing affection and remain calm, who watch her flirt with attention and don't flinch, because they know her tests aren't about disrespect. They're a cry. Can you handle the chaos inside me without losing yourself? When she pushes, she's not asking for you to chase. She's asking, are you still the mountain? So stop trying to be perfect. Stop explaining yourself. Stop solving her emotions like a puzzle. You're not her therapist. You're not her savior. You're the man who must lead with silence, walk with purpose, and withhold validation until she proves she's worthy of your kingdom. Do you understand how rare that is? Most men are addicted to approval. They sell their backbone for a body. But the man who can deny his craving is the one she will obsess over in silence. She will think about him when she's alone. She will try to trigger him and fail. She will tell herself she doesn't care and yet dream of earning his gaze again. This isn't manipulation, it's biology. And Marcus Aurelius would tell you, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Be the man who needs nothing from her, and she will give you everything. The harshest truth you'll ever face as a man is this: the more you need her, the less she wants you. It's not fair, it's not romantic, but it's real. A woman is drawn to a man who is centered in himself, who does not orbit around her emotions, her moods, or her affection. Because when you need her, when your sense of worth is tied to her replies, her body, or her validation, she feels it like a stench. It smells of desperation. It reeks of weakness. You may say all the right words. You may look good, be successful, have charm. But if your energy is hungry, she'll know. And no matter how much she smiles, no matter how close she gets, her respect for you will erode silently. Neediness is emotional debt. You're asking her to pay you back for the attention you gave. You think, I was loyal, I was sweet, I was always there. Why isn't she choosing me? But you were never solid. You were available, too available, always proving, always reaching, always showing up, even when she didn't ask. That's not strength, that's submission. A woman doesn't want a man who proves he loves her every second. She wants a man who chooses himself even in the face of her love. Why? Because if you're willing to abandon your path just to keep her, you were never on a path to begin with. This is what Marcus Aurelius meant when he said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." Most men haven't begun to live. They exist in pursuit of female approval, like addicts chasing a high. Break free from that. Choose solitude over codependency. Choose discipline over dopamine. Because here's the secret. When a woman senses that you don't need her to feel complete, she feels a pull she cannot intellectualize. She wonders, why isn't he chasing me? Why does his silence haunt me? Why do I feel like I'm the one who's replaceable? You become the scarcity in a world full of simps. The man who would rather lose her than lose himself. And that is the man she will never forget. A man's silence is terrifying to a woman who's used to control. When you stop talking, when you stop explaining, when you stop chasing, she's forced to face herself. Because silence from a man who once gave, who once showed care, it's not absence, it's pressure. It creates a vacuum. And in that vacuum, her mind begins to spiral. Did I push him too far? Why hasn't he reached out? Is he already moving on? Did I lose something irreplaceable? You see, withdrawal is not weakness. It's a strategic retreat, a reset, a reclaiming of masculine power. You think that holding on makes you strong, but it's the ability to let go, to walk away without looking back, that defines true strength. You must understand, women are emotional alchemists. They test, they provoke, they create chaos. Not to destroy you, but to see what you'll do in the fire. Will you flinch? Will you beg? Will you become a boy again? Or will you become still? Will you detach with dignity? Will you withhold, not out of spite, but out of value? Marcus Aurelius didn't speak of women, but he understood human nature. He wrote, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" Let that sink in. When she disrespects you, ignores you, plays games, you don't react. You remove yourself, not with rage, not with revenge, with stoic indifference. because your energy, your time, your mind, they are sacred, and a woman who doesn't recognize that doesn't deserve it. And here's what will happen. When you go silent, she will feel your absence in her bones. She will scroll through old messages, replay old conversations, search for your presence in other men, and find nothing like it. That's when she realizes you weren't just another option, you were the standard. And the standard doesn't explain itself. It doesn't chase. It doesn't return. It stands in silence as a reminder of what she could have had, if only she had recognized your value before you reclaimed it. She'll never say it out loud, but she doesn't want you soft. She doesn't want you harmless. She doesn't want you safe. She wants to feel a fire in you that's barely controlled, a restrained danger, a quiet dominance, a masculine edge that makes her question if she can ever tame you. And the truth is, if she can predict you, mold you, or emotionally leash you, she will never lust for you. Women don't crave men they understand. They crave the man whose mind is a fortress, whose presence is heavy, whose eyes say, "I don't need you, but I see you." This isn't about being rude. It's about being untamed. She doesn't want a robot. She wants a man with depth, with shadows, with self-restraint so strong it arouses her curiosity more than your compliments ever could. You see, the modern world told you to be agreeable, to be kind at all costs, to cater, to comfort, to always ask, never lead. But she's not turned on by permission. She's aroused by certainty. A man who decides. A man who walks into a room and doesn't shrink. A man who can take control, not just of her, but of himself. That's the edge. The edge that makes her nervous in the best way. The edge that makes her feel like a woman. Not equal, not superior, not the leader, but surrendered, because your energy gives her no other choice. And here's the paradox. The more grounded you are, the more dangerous you become to her comfort zone. Because she can't manipulate a man who sees through her patterns. She can't guilt a man who doesn't need her affection to function. She can't trap a man who would walk away the moment his peace is disturbed. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." What are yours? To be liked or to be respected? When your ambition becomes mastery of self, you walk different, you talk different. And women, whether they admit it or not, sense it instantly. That edge is not cruelty, it's not arrogance. It's the divine masculine in its purest, rawest form. Unshakable, unbending, unforgettable. There is a kind of man who leaves a mark on a woman's soul, not because he was loud, not because he was rich, but because he never needed her to validate his worth. She remembers him because he saw through her, not just her beauty, but her games, her fears, her tests, and he remained unmoved, solid, stoic, focused. He didn't beg for her love. He didn't try to impress her. He invited her into his world and left the door open. If she walked through, he welcomed her. If she walked away, he let her go. That man, he is unforgettable. Because in a world where women are pursued endlessly, he stood apart as the one she couldn't conquer. He chose himself every time, not out of selfishness, but out of honor. He protected his energy like a king protects his throne, and in doing so, he became royalty in her memory. Now listen, the man who makes her body ache is common, but the man who haunts her soul, the one she checks up on 5 years later, the one she compares every man to, that man was rare. That man was you before the world beat it out of you. You were born with that edge, but they taught you to soften it, to seek comfort, to over-apologize, to romanticize suffering. They told you that pleasing her was more important than leading her. And now look, millions of men walking the earth, desperate for connection, but never taught the only truth that matters. You are not supposed to chase her. You are supposed to become the man she can't ignore. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter." The right thing is building yourself. Even if she doesn't notice, even if she leaves, even if you're alone. Because when you truly arrive in your masculine frame, grounded, clear, unapologetically disciplined, you won't just attract women, you'll attract the right kind of woman. A woman who respects your silence, honors your mission, and never dares to take your presence for granted. That is your path. Not to be desired by many, but to be unforgettable to one, because you became unforgettable to yourself. And in that stillness, that solitude, that sovereignty, you finally become a stoic master of desire.